just about an hour ago, and this is around Camp Van Dorn, just south of Centerville, Mississippi. There are some reports of some homes that got damaged in that area. We also saw some visible pictures of some snap trees. They're probably going to go and investigate the area early tomorrow, so they're going to go out there and survey the situation just to see exactly what happened in that area. But the concern now is also leading to not so much the concern for, I would say, damaging winds, maybe still the possibility of some hail for some areas mainly further east of where this main line currently is sitting. You can see that line from Jackson all the way down through the downtown area, and that extends all the way to the coastline, but it's going to be heavy rainfall. Over the last couple days, we've been dealing with all that intense rain out there. Well, guess what? We may easily see another inch to 2 inches of rain in a short amount of time. Now, the good news is this same system was crawling across portions of eastern Texas early today and even southwest Louisiana. It took a while to make its way through. However, well, it's picking up a little bit of steam. And well, more on that. We're going to send you over to Danielle over there. She's got the very latest on what's happening in the Weather Center.
Yeah, that's right, Jesse. Right now we are taking a live look outside. Believe it or not, this is our live case in point. A lot of lightning associated with this storm as it continues to push its way through southeast Louisiana and through the capital city here. We're at Perkins and Bluebonnet right now. Very low visibility there. If you're out on the roadways, we can take a look at our traffic camera right now. We're looking over the Mississippi River Bridge. Again, take a look at this on your screen there. I-10 in Nicholson, you see people actually driving with their hazards on there. A lot of rain, heavy rain, a lot of lightning, and again, gusty winds with this system. We can bring it back to our live sky cam here, but this is what we're really seeing. And this is what's going to continue to push through as we move through the next hour or so. So the good news is there's a little bit of rain behind that, but the main line is making its way through now. You see that a lot of lightning coupled together right here in Baton Rouge. It's continuing to move across I-10, across I-12, heading towards 55 there. So areas right here at the 10-12 merge really packing the punch. We can take a little zoomed in look here. So I-10 Baton Rouge here, just in the areas of East Baton Rouge Parish, moving into Livingston. Iberville really feeling the punch here with a lot of this lightning here. And also as you head up to the north, head up towards the Felicianas and Point Capee, New Road, seeing a lot of that lightning as well closer to Zachary there. But a lot of lightning right here in East Baton Rouge Parish. So if you're in those areas, in the Walker area as well, starting to see a lot of that. So we're also seeing a little bit of hail. Jesse, if you could cue that area of hail there in between the 10-12 split there, they're seeing a lot of area, yep, just right there by Jones Creek. You see this radar indicated hail signature here, and the colors of blue indicating that it could be creeping up on maybe, let's see what it says, maybe an inch of rain or an inch of hail there. So we see these pockets here of these blue colors indicating that it's a little larger. So we still have that concern for hail, and that we were talking about that with these storms. You do have the potential for hail. You have those gusty winds. You have the strong signature there. And we also now have a severe thunderstorm warning, right, Jesse? Yep.
Thunderstorm warning.
It is for East Baton Rouge, East Feliciana, Livingston, and St. Helena Parish until 7:45 p.m. So another 30 minutes or so with this warning. If you're in this area, that means you're seeing wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour or above. You're seeing up to 3/4, a quarter of an inch, I should say, of hail with this storm, gusty, damaging winds. And again, you can't rule out that chance for a tornado, but right now we're just under that severe thunderstorm warning. Again, that's for East Baton Rouge, East Feliciana, Livingston, and St. Helena Parish until 7:45 p.m. tonight. And that's that area where we're seeing some of that hail signature as well with that too. So hail has been a big factor with this one. Also those damaging winds. Jesse, anything you want to add on this storm?
Yeah, I do. Can we flip it over to back to Max 2? And I do want to point out here, we can go back full screen. If you go Max 2, you'll see that we've also now sit underneath an aerial flood warning, and you see big picture here. That is for East Baton Rouge, East Feliciana, St. Helena, West Feliciana, Amite, and Wilkinson until 10 o'clock this evening. These are for those urban and small stream areas. We're talking runoff with this very heavy rainfall, where we're seeing those rainfall rates at roughly an inch per hour, some areas even more than that. So that water adds up and pools very quickly on our roadways. Usually these are the areas that are typically prone to flooding, and that's where you have to watch out for that high water. We're going to keep a very close eye on some of our local streets. And as you see here, I'm going to try to even pop up one of our areas that usually floods. And let's see if we can get to one of our flood prone areas on our sky cam here, or at least, our traffic cameras. And when you're kind of looking at is, again, kind of watching those areas just around, take a big picture there and you can see a little bit of water, but at least the pumps are holding up for areas just around I-10 and Acadian. Also the same thing, just around 110 and North 22nd. Usually, again, that's where we see a lot of that water quickly adding up across the area, and it kind of filters all into those low areas, and that's what we really have to watch out. Also, a lot of lightning in the area, along with those very intense rainfall rates. And as you notice, just even seeing those vehicles moving back and forth, visibility is very poor. And main thing is, if you're on the roadways at this point, you may just want to give yourself a little bit of time, because these storms are racing through, and that is the good news. They're going to quickly get out of here, probably within the next hour to 2 hours. We'll get a little bit of lull before more rain returns as we head into the evening hours. Send you back to Danielle.
Jesse, on our live sky cam here, is there any way we can turn it towards the intersection of Bluebonnet and Perkins there to see what it looks like? Cars are moving smoothly there on the roadways, but again, still a lot of water on the roadways there. So you can't see much. Obviously, the sun is no longer helping us out here, but still a lot of water. You can actually see it kind of moving across our parking lot with the wind there. But again, drive with caution if you're on the roadways this evening. These storms are going to push on through. Give it an hour or so. If you can stay home, maybe just wait until they pass on through. Remember, we still do have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect for areas here. Jesse, can we pop up that severe thunderstorm warning on this map for a second here? It's right in this area where we're seeing a lot of that heavy rainfall and the lightning associated with this storm as the line continues to push on through. This is the area we're talking about here, just to the east of Zachary, just to the north of Baton Rouge, just to the northwest of Walker there, including East Baton Rouge, East Feliciana, Livingston, St. Helena. Again, that's in effect until 7:45, so still another 30 minutes on this severe thunderstorm warning. That means you could see wind gusts up to 60+ miles per hour. You could see that hail of a 1/4 inch or larger, and again, you're going to see that heavy rainfall resulting in, like we already had that aerial flood advisory there in effect. So you could see the localized flooding on the streets with this storm system as it continues to push further off to our east, and it's going to continue to do so. Look at all the lightning associated with this storm. Just to the south of Baton Rouge into Livingston Parish there, just to the north of Baton Rouge as well. If you're in downtown Baton Rouge, hopefully you're inside. If you're driving, like we mentioned, across I-10 and I-12, you're really feeling the rumble and a lot of the water on the roadway. So please slow down and drive with caution as these storms continue to move on through. Again, with the hail there, you see these pockets of blue here indicating you could see up to 1 inch in diameter with the hail. And again, this is associated with that severe thunderstorm warning. So we were talking about the hail up to 1/4 inch with that or above. So that's the area of concern we're watching there, just to the north of I-12, just to the west of Walker there. So still dealing with that area. We zoom in, that's right across I should say 190 there. So again, that's the area we're dealing with that hail just closer to I-12. And again, remember, we are under that slight risk for severe weather as we continue through tonight. A lot of lightning associated with this, the heavy rainfall, again, the damaging winds. We can't rule out that chance for an isolated tornado. We already saw that up in Wilkinson County earlier today. They're going to be continuing to look at that damage for tomorrow. We'll know more about that.
I do want to point out they actually just confirmed there was a tornado.
There was a tornado.
Local law enforcement did see a tornado. They did have some visible images out there. So that area in Wilkinson, that was a tornado on the ground. So we did have some proof of that now. More results are obviously going to come in as they survey the situation probably tomorrow morning at this point. I also want to point out they also issued a mesoscale discussion, and all that kind of means is the meat and the potatoes of this system as that cold front is driving through. I want to get back to Max 2 here just to show you how this rain is kind of setting up for us. And the overall dynamics are still very strong ahead of that cold front, pushing all this moisture into an area where our instability is still very high. And what happens is, again, we could be seeing some extreme and really just some scary rain totals with this system going up towards the northeast. It looks like it's going to kind of explode. You see there's currently a severe thunderstorm watch in place until later on tonight, I believe. Is it 10 p.m.?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe 10 p.m. And again, a lot of these storms are going to continue to migrate their way off towards the northeast. So if you live anywhere from, say, the downtown area or just directly between there and I-49, 9. Look for more intense rainfall, lightning, even some gusty winds up to about 50 to 60 miles per hour with this system as it continues to make its way up towards the northeast now at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. So again, they're driving all through. Majority of the dynamics are going to sit, or at least the worst part of the system is going to sit most likely in southern Mississippi again. But as you notice, we've still got a couple more pockets a little bit further south. So if you live south of I-10, the I-10-12 corridor, you can see a lot of this rain starting to filter in on the backside, but at least it's moving. It's marching along pretty quickly at this point that we're not going to have to worry about much more than localized flash flooding. Yes, we could get a couple areas where the water starts to pond on the roadways, and that should be just about it. Some of our local streams and bayous currently at this point are very high, and with seeing this much rainfall quickly racing through, that could be a definite concern. But I believe the Amite, the Comite, obviously the Mississippi, the water levels are driving. I think all those rivers can hold up to this amount of rainfall, and I know that's a tornado warning in effect until 7:45 for the area. As you see here, that is for St. Helena Parish. Danielle, can you drive here? It's for Livingston Parish. It's for East Feliciana Parish. It's also for East Baton Rouge Parish. Again, this is a cell that's in effect until 7:45. So we're talking another, I would say about 30 minutes here. And it looks like, again, this is Doppler indicated tornado, possible rotation, a circulating storm at this point, some definite signs of rotation. As you see, that is the area of concern. Zooming in a little bit, and let's see if we can get to the storm scan here, the storm winds, and see what we're looking at here. Kind of dig a little bit deeper into this system. And yeah, that is the area that we're currently tracking. Watch out for the possibility of some flying debris out here. And as you see here, it looks pretty broad, but this is the area of concern. Central, if you live in the Greenville Springs area, everything in this area, there we go, we'll jump you back in. Central, this is the area of concern. So just north of somewhere, that flying debris, broken windows or glass, or just even a tree limb if something, some very strong winds whipping into the area. Central area, notice again, tornado warning for at least another 20 minutes in the area. So we're talking until 7:45 for East Baton Rouge, east and west, and that moves into areas a little bit further south. We're trying to take a little bit of a closer look, just a little bit around the Highway 190 area, moving up towards 1026 at this point. Roughly just a little bit to the west of Denham Springs, all kind of tracking a little bit further north. And notice again, they've got a pretty big area underneath that tornado warning, at least underneath that warning box, because this is a decent moving system. So it's quickly going to race its way up towards the northeast. We're just kind of taking a look at some of those scans out there. And you see, again, it's kind of broad. They were looking at the tail end a little bit further south here. You can see, I still think it's up here a little bit closer towards the central area. They're talking just along the line. We're kind of in between two scans, one from the west and one from the east. One that originates out in Slidell, and the other one that originates in Lake Charles. A lot of times you can't see. Again, this could be a very shallow system, and that is the concern out there. Also rain wrapped. Because of the heavy downpours out there, you're not really going to be able to see this system. It's also starting to get a little bit dark out there. So again, it's going to be a very tough situation to see that. So the best thing you can do is find that safe zone. Take your phone and go to that area immediately. If you live anywhere around LA 37, around the central area, and then tracking up towards the northeast. This is going to be really that area, because again, it kind of looks pretty broad at this point. We might see another isolated cell possibly here. Again, kind of watching areas a little bit further towards the north. I'm going to take a look at my phone here just so we can get a little better idea and indication of what's going on, because obviously we keep losing our monitors here. Yeah, if you can go full screen with that graphic, you'll see that East Baton Rouge, East Feliciana, Livingston, St. Helena until 7:45 underneath that tornado warning. Let's see here. Danielle, you got any new information, anything from the National Weather Service?
That's basically what they were saying. They were mentioning those strong winds there over 70 miles per hour in between Baton Rouge and Denham Springs. Centreville also was reporting significant damage. I know we had mentioned that earlier. That was with that tornado warning up in Wilkinson County.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just taking a look at another radar system, and again, I'm kind of watching an area just a little bit to the southeast right now of the Clinton area. That's again where we have to watch another little pocket. You start to get in this main line of thunderstorms, you start to get these little bow echoes, these little bends. And again, that's where you start to get these little, what we call couplets. And that's where you see the bright red with the bright green coming together. Well, it kind of indicates some possible spinning, some rotation within some of these cells. And you start to see it in a lot of spots. And as you see also here, I do want to point out, looking at this Doppler already, you can see all that lightning just a little bit north of the Walker area, just a little bit south of Clinton. That is what we're watching right now. That seems to be the most intense cell. Otherwise, that cell that's currently making its way just north of Denham Springs into the Monticello area and a little bit further north. The concern there is also because that is the leading edge of the storm. Yes, we could be seeing those winds, some pretty strong straight line winds, maybe even up to about, say, 60, 70 miles per hour. And that can do some damage out there. Possibility of some power outages across the area. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Also, if you guys have reports of some damage across the area, obviously we're not online at this point, or excuse me, over the air. We're online and we're following on Facebook Live at this point. But again, if you have any information in some of these areas, always first thing is be safe first. Find that safe zone. If it looks like conditions are starting to improve in the area and you want to look out the window, then you can relay that information to us, because it's sometimes easier for us. You guys are our eyes out there in the field because we can't get to every place. We're sometimes here monitoring everything behind, obviously, some closed doors and kind of watching these Doppler radars very closely to kind of give you an indication ahead of time as to what is actually going on. Danielle, you got some new information?
Nope, just extending, or they still have that tornado warning in effect, obviously, until 7:45 tonight, including St. Helena, Livingston, East Feliciana, East Baton Rouge Parish, still in effect until 7:45 p.m. this evening. And this is the area that we're talking about here, this tornado warning system. We were talking about the hail we saw with this system. We were talking about the strong winds. They mentioned winds up to 70 or above miles per hour. That can cause some damage with those straight line winds.
Well, and you were just saying that too. They actually just made an announcement that PD in Centerville, Mississippi. So again, this system has a history of producing very violent storms out there, and they're looking at significant damage in the area due to a tornado in southern Mississippi. That was the one roughly about an hour ago, but it's the same system, that same line is driving through. So just always know that there is that potential. Now the thing is, it looks like a lot of these rotating storms are tracking a little bit further north. In fact, that area that was a tornado warning, it looks like now they've kind of backed off and they went to a severe thunderstorm warning. You can see they kind of made that bow echo. It looks like not so much broad rotation, but straight line winds. You can see it's very broad, and obviously that is the area of concern.
The area of 70 miles per hour winds they were talking about. That's radar indicated. Again, you can see considerable damage with these winds, and they don't necessarily have to be rotating winds to cause that damage. Straight line winds can cause almost the exact amount of damage, and what it is, for instance, if you're looking at a tree, the trees will fall all in one direction instead of rotating in another direction. So again, straight line wind damage can also cause the same amount of damage even as an EF0 tornado. So keep that in mind. Straight line wind damage is also a major concern with these storms, with those 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts that can easily take down a tree. So this is the area we're watching here. Again, Jesse's putting that motion on it as it continues to move off to the northeast there. You're looking at Oldfield, 7:45 p.m. Grangeville, you're looking at 8:04 p.m. And again, as it continues to push off to our northeast, those are those strong winds that they were radar indicating here, and they're going to continue to push off. And that's the main thing we're watching with this. We have those severe thunderstorm warnings out. We have had the future, or I should say the past of those tornado warnings out with this. It has a past of creating this, so we're going to continue to watch as they continue to push further off there and those stronger winds. Jesse, do you have anything new?
I also do want to point out, Danielle, too, again, when you got to realize 70-mile-an-hour winds, that's nothing to laugh at. I mean, when you're talking a tornado warning, most people think that is of the highest concern. Indeed it is, because you do get those rotating storms. But I do want to point out, when you get those 70-mile-an-hour winds, that's where you're going to hear things start to creak outside of your house. That's when the trees are going to start to bend.
We heard in here.
That's when you're going to start to hear things, your house start to bend and creak a little bit. You're going to start to hear. That can produce a lot of damage because what you're doing is you're really just sweeping a wave. That wave is going to be those very strong winds pushing in this general direction. So everything ahead of it, the plow is pushing those very strong winds up towards the northeast. And then those trees go down, the branches fall off, your lawn furniture gets picked up, anything that's small, garbage cans, if you put them out already, they could be tumbling across the road and eventually flying into your house or whatever. And again, this is the area of concern. Taking a look at that Doppler radar, and you see here, this is the area right here, this leading edge that you kind of got to watch out for because again, that's where those storms are rather strong. Also, again, look at this. It's starting to flash. Hail still a factor. We're talking large hail, 1/4 inch in diameter and possibly greater. A lot of lightning in this system, along with rainfall rates at 1 inch per hour. So that rain is starting to add up. And the concern is because we've had very saturated soils over the last couple days, a lot of our bayous, our waterways, our streams, where a lot of that water starts to filter in. I was driving around town today, and a lot of areas were very high. The Amite River, I saw it, the Bayou Manchac was already very high. So once you get some of that water to drain in a lot of these areas, expect those water levels to drop. And if you, or excuse me, to climb very quickly over the next hour to 2 hours. And again, that's what we're watching very closely. I think we got some new information.
A Facebook user there, Pam Jones, she wants to know about her area in Satsuma.
All right, Satsuma. Again, just keep an eye in the Satsuma area because, again, these storms are on the way. You see that they are starting to inch their way into Livingston Parish. Also some very heavy pockets out there, lightning. Potential rotation right now, but everything kind of looks to be a little bit more broad, like it is a straight line windstorm with this system as it drives quickly towards the east. Again, this system isn't really allowing it to slow down and spin. Oh, we got a new tornado warning out there. Keeping a very close eye on it. And this one is originating a little bit south of Donaldsonville. Remember what I told you, in that main line of thunderstorms, it's easy for us to get those little spin-ups out there, create those rotating storms. And that's really what's happening. You're going to start to see these isolated tornado reports start to pop up all the way down the line. So even if you live a little bit further south, as that line drives up towards the northeast, you start to get those spin-ups along the way. Tornado warning now for Ascension, Assumption, and Livingston and St. James until 7:45. So that's only for another 15 minutes out there, but still a definite concern. And anytime you fall underneath this red box, that is your safe zone. That is time to get to your safe zone. Have a game plan and know what to do for you and your entire family because, again, once you get underneath one of these tornadoes, again, this is just Doppler indicated, nothing confirmed quite yet. But all the signs are there that we may have a shallow thunderstorm or two. And I'm just kind of looking at our live sky cam off in the distance. And it's starting to get dark out there. The rain is coming down very hard. We're talking rain-wrapped tornadoes. If there is something on the ground, a lot of these are going to be somewhat shallow too. You're not going to be able to see that twister on the ground if it is there. So I wouldn't even worry about sitting on your front porch and getting some visible, or at least getting some pictures again, because that's never a smart idea if that system is racing towards you. You see, we're still dealing with some heavy rainfall. This is Perkins Road right here. This is I-10. That's Perkins Road across the street. Mall of Louisiana near I-10 is just up around the bend. And as you see here, we got a lot of lightning. But notice what you can't see in the distance. Downtown. We can't see the downtown area just because, again, that rain is coming down and starting to get a little bit dark out there, so visibility is really starting to drop across the area. Let's take a big picture again. You see numerous lightning strikes out there, and here you go. Ascension, Assumption, Livingston, St. James until 7:45. Danielle, can we get a scan of that just to see exactly what we're looking at? All right. Here is that first cell, that tornado warning, a little bit north now of the central area. Obviously, this is the area, that broad area, those straight line winds driving quickly north, scraping itself through the Denham Springs area, moving north of the Walker area, and really everything up towards portions of East Baton Rouge, northern half, I would say. And then we're talking Livingston, Ascension, St. Helena, and then moving eventually into Tangipahoa Parish around I-55 at this point.
We're going to stop streaming so we can go on air.
Oh, okay. All right, we are going to stop streaming on air, or excuse me, we are going to turn it to on air. Right now we're on brproud.com and we're currently on Facebook Live, but we're going to push it back to our on-air coverage, which we will continue to try streaming here on our website. So again, I know a lot of times it's very difficult if you're away from your TV and you're in the center of your house, maybe in a closet at this point, just to be safe, which is good. Keep your phone handy, and we'll try to keep you updated as we move along. Just let me know when that happens, Danielle, or when we're about to go.
Yes. Also, we have a Facebook user
All right, Gardere area. Okay, we've got a Facebook user. Yeah, right now seeing some pretty heavy rainfall. Gardere is down here, which is actually starting to improve. That first wave was pretty heavy. A lot of that, what you're seeing here, is now starting to drive a little bit closer to I-10. If you live in Gardere along the Mississippi River, a lot of you're actually kind of getting back. You made it through the worst right now, and it's going to gradually start to improve a little bit. However, areas between the Shenandoah area, we're talking Old Jefferson area. I was just watching an area here that there was some possible rotation, so if you live anywhere within that area, that is definitely a concern at this point. Let's go back to that main screen if we're going to go on live on air, just to kind of switch it. Oh, we are live on air right now. Well, thank you for joining us, all of you on TV right now. Main reason we are live on air, we just transitioned from our social media platform and our Be Our Proud website. Again, we've been streaming there for the last, well, hour now. So here's the deal. We are transitioning back to just kind of indicate that there is a new tornado warning out there, and that is for East and West Baton Rouge Parish. Excuse me, not West, but East Baton Rouge Parish. We're talking Livingston, St. Helena, and further towards the north. Notice the area of concern is just around I-12 at this point. So Denham Springs, right along the Amite River, that is what we're watching right now, driving up quickly towards the northeast. Danielle, can you pop up the warning at this point? All right, here's what we're talking about. Tornado warning, East Baton Rouge Parish, East Feliciana, Livingston, St. Helena. That tornado warning is in effect until 7:45, so that's another 10 minutes. If you live anywhere underneath this red box, find that safe spot immediately. Also, we've got another tornado warning a little bit further south. That's Ascension, Assumption, Livingston, and St. James. That tornado warning is in effect until 7:45. All of these isolated tornadoes are spawning off that main line, which should be pushing through within the next 30 to 40 minutes. It's a quick mover now. That's good. It's dumping a lot of heavy rainfall. We're also getting possible wind gusts. As you see here, also a severe thunderstorm warning. Possibility of some straight line winds up to 60 to 70 miles per hour. And this system has a history of damaging winds. In Wilkinson County, around the Centerville area, they do have reports of a tornado and extensive damage in the area. That happened roughly about an hour and a half ago, but it's still the same system. I'm going to send you over to Danielle. It looks like she's got some new information over there. Can you flip it back over to the other camera?
Yeah, Jesse, the National Weather Service was just reporting that they had reported